సార్ రెడీ 3, 2, 1.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. సిద్దిపేట జిల్లా విద్యాశాఖ వారు నిర్వహిస్తున్న ప్రాథమిక పాఠశాలల ఉపాధ్యాయుల ఆన్లైన్ ఓరియంటేషన్ శిక్షణ కార్యక్రమం 17వ రోజుకు స్వాగతం, సుస్వాగతం. ఈ కార్యక్రమ రూపశిల్పి జిల్లా విద్యాశాఖ అధికారి డాక్టర్ కె రవికాంతరావు గారు. వారు ప్రస్తుతం సెలవులో ఉన్నారు. వారి స్థానంలో బాధ్యతలు నిర్వహిస్తున్న వెంకటేశ్వర రెడ్డి గారు, నాతో పనిచేస్తున్న సెక్టోరల్ అధికారులు రమేష్ గారు, మనీలా గారు, కార్యాలయ ఏసీ రమేష్ రావు గారు, మండల విద్యాశాఖ అధికారులు, కాంప్లెక్స్ ప్రధాన ఉపాధ్యాయులు, ప్రిన్సిపాల్స్, ఎస్ఓలు, ఎల్ఎఫ్ఎల్ ప్రధాన ఉపాధ్యాయులు, ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొంటున్న సమస్త ఉపాధ్యాయులు మరియు ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి ముఖ్య అతిథిగా ఉండి కార్యక్రమాన్ని స్పోకెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ క్లాసులు నిర్వహిస్తున్న స్వర్గం రవీందర్ గారు, అదేవిధంగా ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి హోస్ట్ చేస్తున్న నాగరాజు గారు, ఓంకార్ రాధాకృష్ణ గారు, ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి పేరు పేరున స్వాగతం తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. మరి నిన్నటి వరకు స్పోకెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ 6వ రోజు స్పోకెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్కి సంబంధించి 6 రోజుల కార్యక్రమం అయిపోయింది. ఈ రోజు 7వ రోజు. నిన్న సార్ చాలా చక్కగా ప్రెజెంట్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ టెన్స్ ను గురించి చక్కగా వివరించడం జరిగింది. ఈ రోజు చాలా కొంత కాంప్లెక్సిటీ ఉన్నటువంటి ఇప్పటి 6 రోజులలో కూడా చాలా సింపుల్ విషయాలను డిస్కస్ చేయడం జరిగింది. మరి ఈ రోజు నుంచి కొన్ని కాంప్లెక్స్ సెంటెన్సెస్ అంటే కొన్ని 2 రకాల టెన్స్లను కలిపి మనము వాడేటువంటి విధానము, అది పాస్ట్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ టెన్స్, అదేవిధంగా ఫ్యూచర్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ టెన్స్ల గురించి ఈరోజు మనకు వివరించడానికి స్వర్గం రవీందర్ గారు ఉన్నారు. కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభించడానికంటే ముందు ఒక చిన్న మేము ఒక 15 నిమిషాలు ఆలస్యంగా ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని కొన్ని అనివార్య కారణాల వలన ఆలస్యంగా ప్రారంభించుకుంటున్నాం. దానికి చింతిస్తున్నాం, మీకు కలిగినటువంటి అసౌకర్యానికి చింతిస్తున్నాము. ఎప్పటిలాగానే మరి కార్యక్రమాన్ని శ్రద్ధతో, ఆసక్తితో, ఆనందంగా విని మరి స్కిల్స్ ను డెవలప్ చేసుకోవాలని ప్రాథమిక పాఠశాల ఉపాధ్యాయులను కోరుకుంటూ, హోంవర్క్ కూడా ఎప్పటికప్పుడు చేసుకోండి. మీ క్వశ్చన్స్ మాత్రము ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ దాంట్లో చాట్ బాక్స్ లో రాయండి. చాలా మంది గుడ్ మార్నింగ్, గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ కంటే కూడా మీరిచ్చే సూచనలు, సలహాలు మాకు చాలా ఉపయోగంగా ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి అవి చేస్తారని నేను కోరుకుంటున్నాను. మరి ఇక రవీందర్ సార్ గారిని కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్రారంభించవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ ఆల్. Ravinder sir, over to you, Ravinder sir. Please continue the session. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. So, is it audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, na? Right. Good morning, everyone who has been participating regularly. Of course, I treat this fascinating journey throughout the week. Definitely will yield fruitful results in the future. So without wasting much time, directly I move to class. Well, today's quote, it is as simple as it seems, but it makes us, it awakens us to lead our life happily throughout the day. Every day is a fresh start. So suppose yesterday you worked hard. You worked hard yesterday. So you might have taken rest last night. So again, when the day begins, it's like a shining sun. It is like rising sun. So I hope today will be a good day and a fresh day. And some of them posted something specialty of today 10-10-20. So I expect that is exactly related to our sentences, because today we are going to use 2 functions at a time. So previously we used to work out on 1 function, but now it's time for us to go and add 2 functions at a time and use in proper way. Yesterday, just have a recap of that. So this one we have finished. So directly I display here. Negative, positive, or positive, negative questions together, when they are used So before that, let me ask, when do we use this sentence? Has anybody? When do we use these structures? Have I eaten rice? In what circumstances do we use these? Yes, the works recently completed or the works completed. So these structures emphasize more on result. They emphasize more on result. Work finished. That's all. Work is completed. So you remember this, because when we move on to next structure, there it helps us to compare with coming and completed structures. So in fast track, let us see the possible answers, 4 possible answers. With have, next with we, next with they, next he, she, it. Then our quote, then we enter into new wave. See here, one event happened before another in the past. Now I'm taking into past. We are not going to discuss present or future. Whatever we frame structures, they are absolutely based on past. So here, 2 events are taking place. So in our structures, we are going to use 2 events or 2 functions, 2 works. So one event is finished before another event. So here, on what event, either first or second, we focus is today's class. Okay. Here, you remember, it is not the matter to know whether which event is taking place first, but both the events are taking place, but our focus is on one event. Let us go back to look the structures. You can have some illustrations here. The train had just left when I arrived at the station. See, 2 functions are here. The train had left, one function. One work is finished. The train had left. I arrived at the station. I reached the station. Here see, 2 functions are there. But our function, our statement, our sentence goal is on had. You remember, in all the sentences, one function is with had. In one function, you can see had. In another function, you see work finished in the past. See here, one function is consisting of had. One function is based on had. Another function, it is correlated to the work finished in the past. Okay. Let us move on to the second structure on the screen. I had just put the washing out when it started to rain. Here's again, where do you find had? I had. See, in this, I forgot to tell you about this. Which function had completed first? Which one is completed first? Out of 2, the train had left. I arrived at the station. Which function has taken first? Either arrived at the station or train left. Yes. So whenever had is there, whenever had is connected to the function, that function is finished first. So the statements that we are going to discuss today comprise 2 functions, 2 works, which are completed. Both the functions are completed. But we emphasize on one function which is finished first with had. The function that is first will be having had. So here in this, the train had just left. Means what? Train already left when arrived at the station. After leaving the train, this fellow arrived the station. That means what? Train had left function is taken place first. Then he arrived at the station is second function. So to represent these two functions and connect these two functions, we use this type of statements. Two functions are there. One function is completed first. To mention that first completed one, we use this structure. Well, indeed, we move to second one. I had just put the washing out when it started to rain. I had just put the washing out. See, I want to wash certain clothes. Okay. When it started rain. Then rain had started. So go to third. The plane had left by the time I got to the airport. So before I reached the station, the train had left. So before reaching the station only, train had left. She had met him before the party. She had met him. So she had met him before the party. Which function is taking place first? She had met. Had written the email before he apologized. He apologized. I had written the email. He had written an email before he apologized. Before telling sorry, he had written a mail. Before he did his homework, he had stayed after school for help. Here you can see, before we started the sentence by using before. Here before is used in the middle. Anyhow, which function is taking first is not important, but the function that is connected to had should finish first. Before he did his homework, he had stayed after school for help. After school also he stayed for help. Before he did his work, here he had stayed, this is first. Then he did homework, that is second. Then go to some more structures. He had lived in Siddipet before moving to Dupak. So some years ago he was in Siddipet. After that he left to Dupak. So if you every time it's not possible to tell this explanation. So others may not listen. It is too quiet to say combining two functions at a time, representing the first one with had. He had lived in Siddipet. So he had lived in Siddipet first, before moving to Dupak. He left afterwards Dupak. The cat had chased the bird before it flew out of the yard. The cat had chased first. Then what happened? Bird flew out of the yard. Bird flew out of the yard. So I had never seen such a beautiful sunset before I went to Mumbai. So he had never seen. He hadn't seen what? A beautiful sunset before I went to Mumbai. So after going to Mumbai only he had seen. Before that, he hadn't seen such sunset. I did not have any cash. He did not have any cash. Why? Because I had lost my purse. He had no money. Why? Before that only, he had lost his purse. That is why he had no money. So I had lost my purse is first function. Then I did not have money is second one. To connect this, we used here because, sometimes before, sometimes when. Let us observe some more structures. She had visited several doctors. She had visited several doctors. This is the first function. Before she found out what the problem was with her hand. Before she found out what the problem was with her hand. Before finding out her problem with the hand, she had visited several doctors. Now, one more we are taking I had written articles on various topics before he came. Here see, first function had written, second function came, started, see here, watched. Then take a look on second one. He had read, he had written many articles, before he came. Before his arrival, he had written many articles. He had read different books. He had read different books, different kinds of books before you came. So he had read different kinds of books. This is first function. They had played football in that field before it started to rain. They had played football. This is first work. Before it started to rain. He had studied in the library. He had studied in the library first before he came to the class. Before coming to the class, where was he? He was in the library. What did he do there? He had studied. He had studied there before coming to class. We had shopped in the Reliance Mart before came home. We had shopped in the mart. First function. Before we came home. Before coming home, then we had shopping somewhere in the market. We had watched a movie. We had watched a movie. Recall, watch, look, see. We had watched a movie in that Cineplex before he came. Similar. I had practiced the songs before the program started. I had practiced the songs before the program starts. See, I had read very well. I had studied very well before the annual exams. Okay. I practiced well before the games meet. Like this, you can frame as many structures as possible by shifting situations from one to one to another, one to new one. I had listened to melodious songs before I started the work. I had listened to melodious songs. First work. Before I started, before starting up the work, what had he done? He had listened. He had already listened. I had not watched the cricket match on television before you came. He hadn't watched. This is the first function. I helped him to do the task after I had finished my work. Here see, in previous structures we used before. The structures were framed with the word before, but here we are using after. But the function, see here, I had started, sentence began with had. But here, the sentence is placed at the end. There is, of course, no matter at all, wherever you mention the function, either first or last. But when had is connected, that function is finished first. I helped him to do the task after I had finished my work. So first I had finished my work, then I helped him to do the work. First I finished my work, then I helped him to finish his task. So like this, works may be mentioned either first or last. But whenever use had, don't forget that work only finished first. I came here after you had left. I came here when? After you had left. I came to your house, but after you had left. We had taken an ice cream before we left the ice cream parlor. Here see, we had taken ice cream. So before leaving the ice cream parlor, we had taken ice cream. This function I had done first. She stayed up all night because she had received bad news. She stayed up all nights because she had received bad news. She did not sleep last night. She didn't sleep yesterday night. Why? Because she had received a bad news. Okay. So which one is first in these two functions? Yes, receiving bad news is the first function. After that, she did not sleep is second one. This can be connected by because. Before he did his homework, he had stayed after school for help. Okay, this we covered. So like this, two functions. One function is with had, another one is completed with time. You mentioned some time should be there. So that work is completed in the past. So here, the new word which we are launching to frame the structures is had. Previously, how many new terms we introduced? First, yes, go, sorry, do, does, don't, doesn't. Next, yes, did. Then recall. Yes, will. Very good. Next, am, is, are, well, was, will be. Right. Then yesterday at the end of the class, I mean we closed with that structure. Yes, how we introduced. Now it's time for us to take a look on had, have, had. As usual, I, you, we, they, he, she, it. Let me show you the structures, particularly positive structures first. Positive one first. I had, you had, we had, they had, he had, she had, it had. Connect with the work. Third form of function is connected to this. Third form. Okay. You speak out. I had eaten. That's right. Yes. Next. Move to that. Yes. Tell with she. Then use it. Well done. Now come to the full structure. I mean, which gives a complete meaning, which gives complete sense. I had eaten rice. You had eaten rice. We had eaten rice. They had eaten rice. He had eaten rice. She had eaten rice. It had eaten rice. See, similar structures we use. I ate. Okay, let us take one example. I ate. That shows completed work. I have eaten. That also shows completed work. I had eaten rice. This also shows completed work. Then think. What is the difference between these structures? There is definitely some difference. Otherwise, we wouldn't have spoken in different ways. Okay. What is the difference? When we have to use these type of structures. Suppose I am telling I eat, means that is routine, no doubt. I ate, I have eaten, I had eaten. I ate rice, I have eaten rice, I had eaten rice. Between these three, you tell me difference. I ate rice means the work is finished. But you have to mention certain time. I have eaten rice in the morning. I have eaten rice in the morning. So that is showing in a particular time you have finished the work. Okay. I ate rice in the morning. Okay. Now I have eaten rice. That's all. Here I have eaten rice means work is completed. That may be just now. That may be some other time. Here I am not pointing out on the time. If I want to mention the work that is finished on a particular time, I use this one. I ate rice in the morning. I ate chapatis in the morning. I ate biryani last night. Okay. I have eaten means you finished the work. Result, if you want to mention, if you want to focus on the result of the work, then you use I have eaten, I have studied, I have completed my walking, I have, don't say, okay, you can say I have slept, I have watched the movie. I'm not mentioning when have I watched the movie. Work has completed, that's all. But I had eaten rice means, I had eaten rice means, see, you have finished this work before completing another work. To mention both, you use these statement. Okay. When two works are finished one after another, to indicate the first work, you use this structure. I ate rice means only one function, but on a particular time. I have eaten rice means completed action, maybe just now or some other time, but in the previous time or in the past. But I had eaten rice means what? Of course, past. But another work also connected to this one. But if you want to tell both one after another, the first one should be mentioned by these kind of structures. Let us come to I had eaten rice, then move to rest of the structures. Come on, you form. You had eaten rice. We had eaten rice. They had eaten rice. He had eaten rice. She had eaten rice. It had eaten rice. Well done. Take a look on total structures. You don't look into the screen now. You freely speak out. You assume that one function that was finished with another function. If possible, connect. If you confuse, don't bother. First you practice this only. How do you connect? There must be the function which is completed in the past by mentioning time. That should be connected. You don't connect I have eaten. You don't connect I ate, I eat. You must connect I ate. Okay. I had eaten rice before you came. I eaten rice before you came my home. Like this. You had eaten rice. We had eaten rice. They had eaten rice. He had eaten rice. She had eaten rice. It had eaten rice. Can you tell me two functions that are taking place one after another in your school? You first tell those two functions, then try to connect two sentences. What is the first work? You just assume I had prepared a lesson. I had prepared a lesson. One function. Okay. Which function you want to connect to this? You frame that also. Which function? Okay. Before came to school. Before coming to school, you prepared a lesson well. You want to connect this one. Which one happened first? Yes, you practiced. You practiced one. 1 minute, sir. Hello. రావట్లేదా? ఓకే ఓకే ఓకే. Okay, let me increase the size of the screen. Thank you for reminding me. So I'll go to just fastly. Had, then similar 7 structures. What are these? Positive. Before framing, you practice this. I had, you had, we had, they had, he had, she had, it had. Very good. Then have a look on increasing the structure. I had eaten. Then frame similar 6 more sentences. Very good. Yes, you can see this 7. Well, so we are here. We stuck here, don't worry. Suppose I had prepared 3rd lesson. When did you prepare this one? Before teaching them or before going to school. Then how will you say this? I had prepared 3rd lesson before I came. That's all. Before I came to school. Then you had eaten rice. You prepare one. We had eaten rice. Before we come to school, you can say, because all go to school, but you only prepared. Then they had eaten rice, replaced by using another one. She had eaten. It had eaten. Well, now we'll go for negative statements. So negative, as usual, no change. Hadn't, had not. Preferably we use hadn't. Negatives also in the similar way as we practiced positives. I hadn't. Then I've been telling you to follow this one first. So we can easily understand that the structure is going to start with I hadn't, like that. You can understand, oh, he is going to tell 2 functions among 2. Then first one would be delivered by had or hadn't. So you can easily bring the situation into the mind. That's why I am refusing not to practice with the help of Telugu. If situation is there, this structure should automatically come into your mind. Suppose if the situation, a person is going to tell about the functions that he had in the past. So these 2 functions are completed in the past only. But he wants to mention the first one and the second one. Which function happened first, and it is followed by another function. So it is somewhat style. It's somewhat cute to speak. It is very nice to speak. Well, I hadn't. Then connect to your work. Well, eaten. I hadn't eaten. Yes, you hadn't eaten. We hadn't eaten. They hadn't eaten. He hadn't eaten. She hadn't eaten. It hadn't eaten. Hadn't. Just eaten rice. Now it's your turn to frame structures. Yes, 7 structures. You speak loudly. No need to take the help of anyone. Yes, first is finished successfully. Now second, very good. Indication is important. Of course, it is unfortunate to say every time, but it's essential. It is crucial. We hadn't. Yes, they, he, she, it. Suppose if we practice various situations before going to school, so these best things we bestow to the kids, so they enjoy without any obstacle. We may struggle to learn new language because being an adult, we have so many controversial issues. They come into the mind and they disturb. But for kids, it's very easy. Even we are daily one situation we are practicing. But kids, they practice more than us. If if you provide a serene atmosphere, a beautiful circumstance in the school, definitely 2-3 situations can be practiced at a time because they are the fast learners. Of course, we are not slow learners, but our fastness will be reduced by many disturbances. That is why I'm telling you practice well, you practice thoroughly. I don't say a stringent practice is required or strenuous practice is required. No, flexible. You free yourself. Okay, don't get BP raised. Oh, I'm going to practice a new situation today. Then you don't consider everything. You don't take all examples at a time. No need. A simple situation, that's enough. One situation where you can easily practice. Even if you are getting trouble with 7, you practice with 1, only 1. So here only you can change. I hadn't eaten rice. You don't go for you. I hadn't eaten rice. I hadn't finished my homework. I hadn't completed my task. I hadn't reached my target. So many like this. I hadn't done good to others. I had done good to others. I hadn't helped others. I hadn't gone to that village. So like this, with one only, by changing this works, you practice. After that, slowly move to you. I hadn't completed work. You hadn't completed work. I hadn't completed work. You hadn't completed work. Then move to we. I hadn't completed work. You hadn't completed work. We hadn't completed work. But here instead hadn't, just to change this sometimes, change this sometimes. Like this, I hadn't completed work. You had completed your work. Like this. I had completed my work. You hadn't completed your work. Then slowly move to they hadn't completed. They hadn't eaten rice. He hadn't eaten rice. She hadn't eaten rice. It hadn't eaten rice. Then similarly 7 or differently 7 are mixing. After using I directly go to she. Sometimes it to you to they. But every time you don't forget this. I, you, we, they, he, she, it. Whenever you start the statement with these words, you never forget to indicate. Sometimes if you say you, is it right? There is no coordination at all between you and your work. Then you are thinking something in the mind wrong. That is wrong. So whenever you say I, definitely that finger should indicate you only. If you say someone is there, you, okay, suppose in the place of she, if you indicate he, that's also wrong. But here is a possibility. For he or she, you can use it. Okay, here no problem. For he, you can use he. For she, you can use she. But if you are unable to judge, that time you have the facility to use it. No problem at all. If it is away from you, you can use that. Okay, if it is near to you, you can use this. But here, danger bells ring when you use I, when you use you. Then we, they also. You don't say they. If it is they, it's okay. If you say they like this, somewhat. Okay, coordination. The coordination should not lack. We move on to the structures. So these are negative statements. I hadn't eaten rice. Yes, you tell. Very good. We, they, he, she, it. That's all for the negative structures. Then why don't you practice two together? I had eaten rice. I hadn't eaten rice. You had eaten rice. You hadn't eaten rice. Again, try with another one. I had drawn a picture. I hadn't drawn a picture. You had sung songs. You hadn't sung songs. Then similarly use different functions for different structures. Yes. So most probably you bring into mind the functions that are taking place regularly in the school. Okay. As I told you in the beginning, singing, jumping, flying, crying, beating, pinching, kicking, running, teaching, learning, listening, speaking, shouting, beating, all you use these as many times as possible in all the cases. Just to create a situation where you connect to these words and you apply them, supply them, and totally make yourself practice well. And similarly, you make the kids to follow you. Have you finished it up to? It hadn't. Well, very good. We have finished this, both positive as well, negative. Then unless you know the questioning, there is no meaning of studying this. It is nothing but reading. If you don't know how to question, then what do these statements indicate? They indicate that you are reading something. If you know questioning, definitely, yes, you can speak out. You make others to talk to you. If you don't know questioning, then how do you expect that the persons staying with you, then how do they speak to you unless you ask them questions? So that is why questions are more important rather than answers. You may get answers somewhere, but at least to get the answers, you must know the questions. That's why you practice thoroughly these questions. As usual, we are moving. I, whenever it displays, shout loudly. Yes, yes, right. So here, question. When the statement starts, when the sentence begins with a had, that could be a question. How do these questions form? They are positive because here had is there. Had I, had you, well, read, 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 read. That's nice. So when you practice two, one time you get. When you club with eaten, second time you'll get. When you club with eaten rice, third time. So why I'm giving different types of tables, to get more practice, more and more practice. Yes, form the structures. You have finished it, very good. But don't look into the screen. Just you see what type of questions to be framed. You see there, yes, had means positive. Eaten rice, of course, not necessary. Those who are ready, those who are alert, then you can frame the structures by using different functions. No one will stop you. Well, 7 structures have you finished? Had I eaten rice? Yes. Had I beaten him? Had you beaten him? Had we jumped? Yes. Had we written poems? Had they written poems? Had he written story? Had she decorated the hall? Decorated the hall. Decorate, decorated. Had it flown into the sky? Here, had it flown into the sky means might be a bird. Okay. Suppose in the place of it, if you want to mention particular one, had the crow fly into the sky? Had sparrow flown into the sky? Had peacock, of course, to some extent. Hen, peacock, they fly, but not like other birds. To certain height, they fly and they fall down because of overweight. Well, so time permits, I, you, we, they. Use with had. For every structure, you change the work because you have been practicing this for the past 7 days. So you have been practicing these structures for 7 days, for about a week. Similar 3 structures with he, she, it. Yes, very good. Then come to negative questions. So previously we framed positive questions. What is the difference between negative and positive? Only had, hadn't. See here, hadn't. If you don't get sufficient practice, say 1,000 times. Suppose if any combination is making you or confusing you sometimes, then you practice that many times. First connect two words, expand, change the function, use in different situations. That should be happen. Have you read this? Have you spoken this? Have you spoken this? Had you spoken these words? See, had you spoken these sentences? Yes, before I asked. Well, seven with hadn't. Yes, very good. Nice. Total structures. So check once. Yes, hadn't. So if nothing is displaced here, you have the chance to use either simple sentence or lengthy sentence by using different works. Yes, frame 7. Check with the answers. First one is, second one, speak. Yes. With this, we have finished negative sentences along with positive sentences. Go for the combination. Had I eaten rice? Hadn't I eaten rice? Had I eaten rice? Positive question. Whereas hadn't I eaten is negative question. Similarly, with you, well, see now. Next. Well, fine. Yes. See here. Had I, hadn't I? Had she, hadn't she? So once you frame from I to it in sequence, again, sometimes go alternatively, sometimes starting with it to I. Okay, because it amuses. If you go on practicing in one way, it will become monotony. So you get bored with that. So to prevent this situation, it is better to have a different usage. Then why don't you practice the structures with answers? Short answer, as usual, with yes or no. Somewhat prolonged one. Another one. The last one. Finish it. Very good. So with you, it's with you. Yes or no? As we move from first situation to now, this is seventh situation, I think. So the burden doubles. See here, when you heard the first situation, it might have appeared very simple. Array, so simple to use this structure. I eat, you eat, we eat, they eat. Very simple. And to represent common things, routines, very easy. But second situation is added, third, fourth, fifth. Now it's the seventh situation. Then think of 7 situations in different ways. So you bring back any situation directly into your mind and speak out without any hesitation. If you do so, no doubt about, nobody will stop you. Then sky is the limit for you. If you confuse, situation is one, your usage is different. Then definitely you require a lot of practice. Again, go back, situation wise, you practice. Again, keep 7 situations aside. Otherwise, 7 slips you prepare and keep in a pin. You take out one slip. What situation is there? Suppose 5th situation. What was 5th situation? Come on, 7 structures. You only keep, suppose 7th situation means this is called 7th situation. You can write like that. So every time you will get new one. If you practice all situations without any barrier, no problem. Then you are going to become an eminent scholar in English in future, because you have tremendous future ahead. So these question answers with you. Then come to had, hadn't. Answer yes or no. Four answers you check. Had we eaten rice? Suppose, had we eaten biryani? Hadn't we eaten biryani? Then you replace with biryani. Yes. How is biryani? How was biryani? You tell me difference. How is biryani means? Yes, you are asking about its nature. How was biryani? So that time you had that biryani, how was that you are asking? Okay. Then how is biryani normally? Yes, it may be eating biryani really making us delightful. With they. 4 answers with a. Now it's your turn to practice with he. You only use speak loudly, be louder. Now take a look and check the screen. He after our word in the sequence, that is the 6th word, that is she. Frame 6, 4 answers with this. You complete saying these sentences before they displayed. Well, what is the time? It's 1:45, no problem. We will have a look on another situation today. Before that, as I told you, there is an important to cover certain events which on and off take place in our school. So those situations we discussed, of course, some events we have discussed in the earlier classes. Today also we can take up one more. So before moving into that, Ramesh sir, are you there? So nobody is there. Don't worry, we continue. So normally,
Sir, sir
hello?
is in another call, sir. Ramesh, sir.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Now I am sending feedback once, sir.
Shall I stop for 2 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, I'll stop here itself. You send, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Ravinder sir. Sir, continue and sir. Sir, busy.
Okay. Right, sir. Okay, continue. Welcome back. So you don't expect we are covering only English. No, not like that. If you have, I mean, if you have the temper to cover even other subjects, no problem. So English serves a lot while teaching other subjects too. Suppose mathematics teachers who teach maths, so they can attract with this. So in maths, generally all times you have applications only. So don't bother about them. Sometimes you attract by telling certain stories or by giving some funny puzzles like, so you can say like this. One day, one business guy, he went to goldsmith with 30 tulas of gold. One businessman went to goldsmith bearing 30 tulas of gold. He had 30 tulas of gold before he came to goldsmith. Then he requested goldsmith. Next month is April. It is comprising of 30 days. So next month from 1st to 30th date, I may come to you 5 times. So in 30 days, out of 30 days, I'll visit you 5 times only. So now I am handing over 30 tulas of gold to you. So today this is March, from April 1st to 30th, I'll come to you to collect my gold in the form of ornaments. But I want 5 ornaments. I come there anytime in the sense, suppose if I come on 26th, you have to give me 26 tulas of gold ornament. If I come on 11th, 11th date, you have to give me 11 tulas of gold. Like that, based on date, you have to give equal tulas of gold to the date. Ornament should be returned to me. So that was the condition. On this condition, businessmen handed over 30 tulas of gold to the goldsmith. So what was the condition there? The ornament should coincide with the date. How many times does the businessman want to visit goldsmith? 5 times. So on which dates he has to come and collect his ornaments. So you ask the kids to tell the dates. Suppose if he comes on 23rd, 23 tulas of gold, 1 ornament. Like that he will come 4 times. So all ornaments the total of ornaments weight should be equal to 30 tulas. So like this, you can create certain entertaining approach, entertaining classroom with English. So in maths, every time application. So you can relax the situation by using this kind of amazing things or amazing facts to the kids. You find out what answer will you get. So meetings, this is today's topic. Generally, we have meetings with elders and youngers. elders meeting is often, I mean not regular, but meeting with youngers, it is quite natural and regularly we meet students. They come under youngers category. Then coming on to this elders meeting, we used to attend meetings at MEO office. So that may continue, we don't say. Again, there may be a chance of gathering at MEO office in future. And again, another possible situation is school complex meetings. Yes. Then meetings in our schools, meetings with the villagers, meetings with the officials, and some meetings which cover national festivals and local festivals and our gatherings. But whatever it may be, meeting is meeting. So we discuss some of the common structures which can be used in all the situations. As per the situation, as per the thing, you can apply these structures. Why meetings are held? First, we have a look on this. They held to make decisions. Why do we conduct meetings? In general, we conduct the meetings to take certain decisions. Then our meetings, they most probably cover education. Why do we conduct meetings? Yes. So we think of collaborative work to improve the standard of education. So we conduct meetings for that purpose. So see, it covers, all the meetings cover first progress and current status. So whenever we conduct a meeting, how the things are taking place, how the events are happening, and what is the current status, what is the present status. Then they will ask us, or we may ask them, updates. What updates are there? Next, after collecting this information, we go to a strategy. We will develop a strategy. What do you mean by strategy? A plan. Okay. Then we allocate the tasks. So we think of current status. We get the latest updates. After that, we will be having a plan. We will be having a plan. Then after attaining the plan, we'll go for allocating the tasks, allocating the targets, allocating the goals. So meeting is conducted to take a decision. As far as our profession is concerned, we generally conduct meetings to uplift the standard of education. So how do we work? With collaboration. Okay. So in a school, you have drawn the attention of people and the society and the neighborhood, means you don't expect only one teacher worked there. There definitely collaborative work took place, but some may come out, some may not. Okay. So school is a social work. The work is shared by all the teachers. So here we share, we care, we dare, and we prove. So that is why collaborative improvement and increasing the quality of education. So 4 things we notice there. The meeting highlights the progress of current status and it takes updates. Then we develop a plan. Then we keep target for ourselves and others too. What are the components in a meeting? Yes, many of us know, but to recall, I'm mentioning here. Every meeting should have an agenda. What do you mean by agenda? A list of topics, a list of items. I mean, what are we going to do in the meeting? How do we conduct? What points to be covered in this meeting? So that is called agenda. Okay. So every meeting should have an agenda. Suppose if you consider our class is a meeting, there should be definitely an agenda. What is our agenda today? I wanted to complete the structures which cover two functions, one after another, and which function has to be taught first. Okay. So that is my agenda. Well, and in some meetings, there should be minutes. Minutes means what? In what way the meeting is progressing, in what the meeting is taking place. All this should be documented, recorded in a register. That is called taking minutes. Agenda and minutes. Every meeting should have this. Beginning. We have an agenda and another person is there to take the minutes. Then starting. How do we start? For every meeting, there should be a leader. For every group, there should be a leader. Leader has to lead the team. Okay. So here, who is the leader? Suppose if it is villages meeting, chairperson or the sarpanch would be the leader. Or in short form, we can say chair. Or headmaster, school complex headmaster, or MEO. If any delegate comes, visits and comes to our school, then he will act as leader. So sometimes government, other officials, they conduct meetings. So there should be a leader. How do we start? The leader first says, hello everyone, thank you for coming today. So instead hello, you can wish. No problem, you can wish. Good morning everyone. Very fresh morning. Very wonderful morning. Thank you for coming today. Since everyone is here, let's get started. Then after wishing them, so you can have a look on the gathering. Since everyone is here, let's get started. As everyone is here, let's get started. Let's get started. Then first I would like to welcome you all. So the first statement that you are going to tell is, I would like to welcome you all. Welcome you all for this meeting. You mention the name of the meeting. Suppose sometimes some new people will be there. Okay, so that new personality might not known by others. Then if a new person is there, then the leader who is leading the meeting should introduce that new person. Okay, so after welcoming, you can introduce that person. Suppose in our meetings, sometimes, newly transferred teachers may come, newly appointed teachers may come. Some nowadays, recently school complexes are leading the meetings. So there in one meeting, our HM might not be there. So first time he is appearing. So that time leader may introduce new person. I would like to take a moment to introduce. You tell the name whom you are going to introduce. I would like to take a moment to introduce. You can directly speak, no problem. How? See, come here. His name is so and so. He's working there. But it seems awkward. So that's why I would like to take a moment, because you're going to disturb them, So that is why you use polite sentences. I would like to take a moment to introduce so and so. His name, his working place, Suppose example I am giving. I would like to take a moment to introduce Devi from the revenue department. She might be an MRO, then you are going to introduce her. She came first time to your meeting, then you take a look and introduce that new personality to the meeting. Please join me in welcoming. So if anyone comes late or the new person is there after introduction, after introducing them, you can invite them to join the meeting. Please join me in welcoming. Tell the name whom you are welcoming. Please join me welcoming Lalita, village head, who will be helping us. Here, why you have to mention, why you have to welcome the new person? That new person may be a part of your progress. That new person may be helping you in future. That new person may be a well-wisher of the student. He may be village head or some other official. So that's why you must welcome and introduce to the gathering. Sometimes, you may ask them directly. Ramana, would you like to introduce yourself? Suppose if you don't want to take the charge to introduce that person, you may give that opportunity to introduce himself. So, Ramana, would you like to introduce yourself? Would you come? Please introduce yourself. You can speak in that way. Well, now we are coming to topic. Wishing, welcoming, introducing new, finishing. Now, as you can see from the agenda, we'll be talking about. So as per the agenda, we will be talking about in what is mentioned in the agenda. You keep that topic, you mention that topic here. I've called this meeting in order to. So you have to tell them what is mentioned in the agenda. I've called this meeting in order to function you mention. What for you invited them for the meeting. Our main goal today is to. So then what is our main goal? Our main goal today is to bring the students into the school first. Our main goal today is bring the students into the school first. Later, provide them quality English medium next. Okay. So if you have adequate strength in your school, your ultimate task will be, what would be your next goal? Your main goal to improve their standard is your goal. You mentioned that our main goal today is to improve their standard. So after announcing the agenda goal, you must take the opinions from the participants. Here, to ask the teachers for their opinions, you can say like this. What does everyone think about? First, your query should spread all the gathering. You need not point out only one. If you point out only one, others may disappoint. You should not do being a head. You should first give a chance to speak all the participants. Then, if you want to specify a particular one, you may invite later. I would like to get your feedback on. You may mention, I would like to get your feedback. What are your thoughts about? Because in agenda you have a goal, then you may ask him to tell his thoughts. What are your views? What are your opinions? What's your strategy? You may request and get the opinions from participants. Then in our meetings, the head should ask first. See, he should not continuously speak in the meeting. This is why I am mentioning all this, The head should not speak continuously. That is not the purpose of conducting any meeting. There should be certain invitation, certain agenda, you open that agenda, then get the opinions. After one person expressed his or her opinion, you can say, yes, in meeting, though you invited all, they may not come. But one or two persons or one or two teachers may speak out to generalize it, to make it general. Again, to acknowledge his opinion, you ask others also. What does everyone else think? Because one has given his opinion in the meeting. How do you know whether remaining participants are accepting or not? Just you ask. Are there any other comments? So that is the opinion of few participants or one or two participants. You want to take others' opinions also. Then are there any other opinions, other comments? Yes. If they don't say, or you want to specify, you want to take a comment from particular one, directly you mention the name. Suman, can we get your opinion or your input? Can we get your input? Would you like to add anything? Because he has told something. Would you like to add anything to his opinion? You can ask like that. Yes. See here, the way the meeting is going on. You have requested them for their opinions. So you are taking the opinions of participants first. Next, you tell your opinions. But normally, the chairperson tells his opinion and he finishes the meeting. That's not the healthy meeting. That is unhealthy meeting. That is one-sided meeting. That should not be happening. If you want to make the meeting more meaningful, more useful, definitely there should be an attempt of taking participants' opinion first. Later, you may go for giving your opinion. Then how do you give your opinions? Here, the opinions may be strong because whatever you want to tell, that should not be leaked out in the beginning itself. If you tell like that, if you do like that, so you may get rejection from the participants, opposition from the meeting. That's why take the opinions. If it is compulsory to follow, then tell your opinion strongly. Suppose if it is common to follow, just you tell your opinion in a weak voice, I mean weak frames, sentences. So strong means you start like this. I strongly believe that. Then you extend by using our any structure. I strongly believe that our schools are not getting adequate strength from the villages. I strongly believe that. Means what? There is no other opinion because it is known fact. So in another way, but I am positive that this time we definitely collect more strength in this or during pandemic holidays. I am convinced that the parents also adjustable with our schools. Though some infrastructure is lacking, but as far as teaching is concerned, we always on upper hand. So I am convinced that I convince the parents in this regard. You can tell like that. Or the opinions. With that you convinced means you can tell I am convinced that. I have no doubt whatsoever that. So this is also a strong opinion. There is no question that. There is no question that we never go back. Why? We are practicing English in a what manner? In a joyful, in enjoyable, in a pleasant atmosphere, so as to enable the students to follow same in the school. So here there is no question that when you mention this statement, it is strongest. Rest of the three are strong. Suppose if you want to tell your opinion normally, then you can start like this. I think, I believe, I feel that. You say like this. That means what? Normally. But instead, if you use this, I strongly believe, means you are going to tell your opinion very strongly. Suppose there is no question that if you say like this, there is no alternative one at all, then the chairperson, what he says, that should be followed by the participants. So opinions vary based on the theory, based on the applicability, practicability in real context. Well, I think from my point of view, means what? Normally you are telling your opinion. In my experience, I find that suppose if you want to add, if you want to bring your experience, if you want to tell your past to the participants, then you can use this structure. In my experience, I think that this shouldn't have happened and we have to go in this manner. You can proceed. I would say that if you want my honest opinion, I think that if you want my honest opinion, I think that, or you can start to be honest to speak this, you can proceed. So just I have given one comment here, you see. Use this phrase. This one you use when you want to express a negative or critical opinion. So here to be honest. So it indicates, yeah, the opinion, your critical opinion. So that you are going to tell in negative way. Very weak opinion. Suppose whether it happens or not, you have to anyhow you have to tell, you have to give your opinion. So in weak sense you are giving means, it seems to me that, it appears to me that you can move. It's possible that, I tend to think that, my initial reaction is. So last four phrases, last four statements, they are used to express your opinion in a weak sense. Because the meeting is there, you have to tell your opinion, anyhow whether they follow or not. Somebody said something after listening to your opinions. Sometimes you may agree or disagree. Suppose if you agree strongly, again in agreeing also strong, normal, partial. Sometimes participants only decide what to do. Suppose if the leader is in a position to agree, again there are options. You can agree strongly, normal agreement is there. You can agree partially also. I completely agree what you said. I couldn't agree more. You are absolutely right. You praise the participant and show your strong agreement in connection to his opinion. Normal agreement. Exactly what you said. It's right like that. That's just how I see it. I am with Swami on this. Swami said one opinion. If you want to join him, I am with Swami on this issue. You can use rest of the sentences. Partial agreement. Here, you are not in a position to agree or disagree. But anyhow, you want to agree, well, it depends. You can say, I agree with you up to a point. I agree with you up to a point, but last point you quoted, that is somewhat like that, you can proceed. I agree with you in principle, but. So it is partial. On one side, on one hand, you are agreeing, on the other side, you are refusing. So this type of opinions are called partial agreements. Disagreements also there. Normal, strong. Normal disagree. I am afraid I disagree. But you don't say directly, I disagree. I'm not so sure about that. I see it differently. I see it differently. Yeah, but not necessarily to follow your opinion means what? That is normal disagreement. If you want to oppose strongly, I'm sorry. After listening to your opinion, what you have to say first? I'm sorry, but I completely disagree with your opinion. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that at all. Here, see, when the disagree is very strong, you start with I am sorry. One side, you listen and you are telling thanks to the participants for their opinions. But on the other hand, you are refusing, you are not at all going to agree with him. Okay, sometimes, we may agree, we may disagree, or partial agreement will be there. Anyhow, if you come to a settlement, participants' opinions are one type, chairperson opinion is another type. This may happen regularly in school complex meetings. Okay, the RPs come and say something. They say something, particularly the topic which is beyond the reality. Then participants say, sir, whatever you are telling, that is not applicable in our environment. Then RP says, see, they said, I am passing this message to you. Then school complex HM, who acts as a chairperson, he comes to a settlement because participants are refusing. RP is telling one opinion, then participants are refusing. So controversial situation is taking place in the meeting. That time who will come forward to settle the matter? Chairperson, the headmaster will come, school complex headmaster will come. How he will use these type of structures? We don't seem to be getting anywhere with this. So maybe we could discuss it further at another time. Simply you can postpone. Otherwise, let's move on. I think we are going to have a agree to disagree. You can say, whatever he says, you listen, whether it is possible you follow or not. By using these kind of sentences, he can settle the matter. He can settle the matter. He makes the meeting cool, and he completes it successfully. So these kind of things may happen in this. Again, we see suggestions. So any suggestions, if participants want to give, this is not opinion, suggestion. Opinion is different from suggestion. Suggestion means what to be followed. Suppose at least in coming meetings or at least in real life. So suggestions can be said like this. Again, you can see weak, strong. What are strong suggestions? I suggest, I recommend, we should do this. Let's have a look of another concept by keeping the first one aside. Weak comment, weak suggestions. We could, why don't we follow? Why don't we do like this? Why don't we like this? How about, what about the thing which we discussed in the previous meeting? So that is also suggestion. Interruptions. Just you see these three, you read these three loudly. Well, have you finished it? Sometimes meeting may be interrupted by saying these type of sentences. Suppose if you want to serious discussions are going on. So that time if you want to interrupt, may I have a word? May I have a word? Could I just say one thing? Excuse me, sorry for interrupting the meeting, but I have an idea about that. You can interrupt the meeting and go for telling your opinion. So controlling the meeting. Sometimes meeting may not be in our hands. Participants just shout, they bombard, and the chairperson again he has to take the charge. Then he can proceed by saying these type of sentences loudly because he has to control the meeting. I think we have spent enough time on this topic. Moving on to another one. So here he can control by summing up the point on which the discussion was going. So he can close that point and he can ask us to move further. So I think we have spent enough time on this topic. Moving on to another point, another topic. If nobody has anything else to add, let's move on to the next item. So he can say that we are running short on time. So let's move on. So leader duty is to check at what time meeting has started, and if discussions are going in this way, so meeting won't be completed today. That's why he has to point out the time. We are running short on time. So let's move on. I would like to skip item 2 and go directly to item 3. So if a discussion is going on, point 2 only. In agenda, we have certain points, okay? So the discussion is taking place on point 2 only. You can skip it. I would like to skip item 2 and go directly to item 3. So no need to discuss the point 2 because the time we spent is more than sufficient. Then we skip that and move to third one. Suppose sometimes leader may not be in a position to control that. Sometimes that headmaster or the leader or the chairperson who is acting as a head to that meeting is unable to control. The staff members are so active, they can easily control. That's why he can hand over his charge temporarily to that teacher. Here, I would like to hand it over to Mahesh, who is going to lead the next point. Next, Mahesh is going to tell us about, he can introduce another teacher to continue the meeting. So here is a list to use. I'm afraid that's outside the scope of this meeting. I'm afraid that's outside the scope of this meeting. I think we are getting a bit off topic, not off. So we are discussing out of topic. You would better save that for another meeting. Now, Mahesh is telling these sentences. Let's get back on track, okay? So whatever we discussed, they are all okay. Then again coming to next point, getting back to third point, letting back to new topic. So in this way you can convince, and convincingly you move ahead. Okay, like this meeting has taken place, then closing also very important in a meeting, because we should not leave the meeting in a hurry. Use these kind of statements. It looks like we have covered the main items on the agenda. Then how can you sum up? You tell in brief, you tell in a nutshell. That will be all for today. That will be all for today. If no one has anything else to add, then I think we'll wrap this up. We'll close up. Our next meeting will be What you have to tell here? Our next meeting will be on, let's get together. Our next meeting will be on January 30th, on the first Monday of next month, and 2 weeks from today. We are going to have another meeting on Friday. Let's hold a meeting to discuss the policy changes. Like this, you close, you sum up whatever present in the agenda we have covered, and you use these sentences by intimating the date for next meeting, date of next meeting. Well, directly coming to, so these statements you can use often during meetings. I don't say you cover everything, at least 1 or 2 statements from this. Later you can have on YouTube, you can slowly watch, practice directly sentences. First statement you take, add situations. Already you know situations. Don't bother about wrong, right, spelling, grammar, nothing doing. That should be in English. English, English, English. Here are some statements which cover new situation. Okay, our meeting time within 5 minutes will close. Be patient with me. Here you observe this. I'll have finished my task by Sunday. Again, 2 works. See, I will have finished my task. When? Yes, here you see all the statement. She will have completed. I will have finished means what? Now, yesterday, in future. Yes, he is going to finish a work. When? By Sunday. She will have completed her homework before the deadline. Teacher has kept one deadline. So you are not doing homework regularly. Be careful. Before particular date, you must finish. Otherwise, see, enough. That could be a deadline. So she will have completed her homework before deadline. So when you use will have, definitely next one you mention the time or date, when, at least when to finish that work. We will have played cricket by Monday. By this time, we will have reached at our home. The snow will have stopped by April. We will have returned home by 5 o'clock. We will have returned home by 5 o'clock. Suppose you went for shopping. There you are seeing here and there. There you can apply. Anyhow, we are spending only hours together in one shop. We will have returned home by 5 o'clock. You can use. By tomorrow, their life will have changed completely. Something may happen. That's why tomorrow will be the deadline. Here, I will have finished this book by 6 p.m. tonight. See this by 6 p.m. like you can keep at the end of the sentences. That's why it is written on the top. It's common to all the structures. You will have studied the English tenses by 7 p.m. tomorrow. She will have cooked dinner by 5 p.m. tonight. Tonight means today night. He will have arrived by 6 p.m. today. We will have met school complex HM. What for? For our annual grade increment, 12 years increment, or some other works. We will have met school complex HM by 7 p.m. tonight. It will have stopped raining. It will have stopped raining by, you mention anything. They will have left school. They won't have finished the homework tomorrow. I will not see him before summer vacation. We will not have decorated his home before they come. Here all you can see, this work is actually, here we are speaking the work that will be completed. But here, before they come, we are using routine. They come. I come, you come, we come, they come, he comes, she comes, it comes. We will not have decorated his home before they come. The match will not have started. The match won't have started by this time tomorrow. They will not have told me the answers by this time on Monday. You will not have gotten the prize. You won't have gotten the prize money by this time you read in June. He will have given you money back by next month. I will have revised my complete syllabus by the day after tomorrow. Lavanya will have drunk milk by now. They will have eaten the food till I reach there. So here, either we are mentioning the routine work or when will we finish that work. So to represent this situation, we use a news one. See here, use it to indicate a future event that has a definite end date. Why do we use this situation? We use these structures to indicate a future event that is going to happen. But when? Some date, some time, some target to be fixed. The target may be like this: by the time, by then, by the year, before, till, by March. So in this way, you can prefer. So this is nothing but past in future. Past in future. Work will be finished, but when? In future. The work will be finished when? In future. So we will have. For these structures, we use will have, or won't have. Yes, as usual, directly I'm coming. Yes, I stay here. I will have eaten rice means you are going to eat rice when you mention. As we discussed in the beginning, certain examples you can add to this. In this way, this situation will be completed. So for all, you can take this as, you can take regular, definitely as an example. You must take this as an example. So homework, you finish. This is positive. Then I'll give you 7 statements. Go through. You write down. Okay. Then negative, won't have. Positive statements with will have. Negative statements with won't have. You see all negatives. So remaining tables you can prepare because you are well experienced now how to prepare a table, how to frame a table based on the situation, then how to construct the structures based on the work. So that's why I'm moving fast. So these 7 negative statements. You see the statements, directly prepare a table. Prepare a table first, go to statements. Positive, negative. I will have eaten rice. I won't have eaten rice. So questions. Here you see questions start with will. Will I have? Will you have? Will we have? So I'll give you full length statements. Will I have? Answer, I will have. In answer, will I have means you will have. 7 positive C, 7 positive statements. So these are positive questions. Then go to negative. In the place of will, won't I have? Won't I have? Negative. Yes. Then go to, don't worry, I'm moving fast means this is your homework I am showing you in advance. It's like question bank. Yes. Actually, this situation you have to frame on your own. Yes, you frame this. You frame. Have you got? Yes. Then all question and 4 answers. Question and 4 answers. In this situation, can you remember work which is going to take place in future, but there is a date, end date, by mentioning particular time. So you use these structures in that kind of situation. And moreover, I would like to tell you, sometimes we may not be in a position to use structures as per the situation. You manage, that's all. You manage. Similar structures are there, which we discussed in different ways. Sometimes exact structure you may not get. That time, what will you do? Use your curiosity. Okay, use your creativity. So one instance happened like this. Of course, you might be knowing that in one area, one doctor recently completed his MBBS. He has no fame name, because nowadays to do any business, definitely there should be a push-up, even for heroism also. I mean, in the field of cinema also, in all the fields, if we have certain some support, some pushback support, or some sound support, definitely the journey would be easy. But for this innocent doctor who has come out of the college with a fresh degree, he opened a clinic in a small town, but nobody is ready to visit him. They are going to towns by spending hundreds and thousands of rupees to the well-known doctor. But he thought, Arey, what can I do? How long I sit? How long I sit like this without getting patients? He decided one day he wants to change his nameplate. So he has written his name small, but with a bold capital letters, he has written like this. If you come to me, pay 20 rupees fees. If you visit me, pay 20 rupees fees. If the disease is not cured, I'll give you 100 rupees back. Not cured, 100 rupees back. If you visit as a patient, 20 rupees you pay in the form of fee. If I don't cure the disease, you'll take 100 rupees back. So next day in the morning itself, again one businessman saw this board. What a business today. Simply I enter into the clinic with 20 rupees and I'll come back with 80 rupees. I mean, with 100 rupees. But profit would be 80 rupees. Not 80. 80 rupees profit. That's all. Then he entered. Suddenly, he went there. Doctor, I lost my taste. That's all. He told about his disease. Doctor, I lost my taste. Doctor said, compounder, bring the bottle number 5. He bring the bottle number 5 and keep few drops on his tongue. Compounder came with bottle number 5. He dropped few drops on the tongue of businessman. Shockingly, businessman said, hey, what doctor are you? This is petrol, man. Huh? Petrola. So you got back your taste. You got back your taste. Earlier you said, I lost my taste. Now you got back your taste. That's all. Bye. Are businessman felt very bad. I lost my 20 rupees. He went back. Next day he came with new plan. What was that? Second day he visited. This time I should take back 100 rupees from the doctor. Doctor, I lost my memory. He said, doctor, I lost my memory. Oh, sit there. Again, he requested, compounder, bring that bottle number 5 and keep few drops on his tongue. Then immediately told, doctor, yesterday only you brought bottle number 5. It contains petrol. Businessman said, okay. Doctor said, oh, right. You got back your memory. Yesterday we used petrol, that information you gave me with your memory. Before coming here, you lost your memory. Now you got back your memory. Bye. Doctor said Tata. This time businessman felt very, very sad. Arey, what is this? A young guy who came from university now itself. Then I am unable to beat him. I am unable to cheat him. This time I definitely take amount from the doctor. Next, third day, he came there. Doctor, I lost my sight. Then businessman decided, whatever the answer, I should not speak about previous or previous answers. I have to keep quiet and I have to tell first my disease. That's all. He decided and sat in front of the doctor. Doctor, I lost my sight. I lost my eyesight. Doctor said, Acha, you lost your sight. Means in my clinic, I have no operation theater to bring back your sight. That's why this time I failed to cure your disease. Compounder, give him back 100 rupees. Then compounder is bringing 50 rupees note only, and he is about to give that 50 rupees note to businessman. Businessman saw that. What, doctor? You told him to give 100 rupees. That fellow is bringing only 50 rupees. Then doctor told, Acha, again you got back your sight. Before coming here, you lost your sight, but now you got it back. So again, compounder, don't give that 50 rupees to businessman. Take that 20 rupees, said Tata. So like this, if you want to work normally, nobody will come to school. You attract, use your creativity. Sometimes we may use normal function, we may do normal work, but that should appear in a different way. That may not be creative work, but it appear like creative work. It should appear like creative work. So I expect definitely you all drink, eat, sleep English. With this, I come to an end. Good day to you all. And you practice all structures and you decide how many mistakes you done. Just keep a paper. When you consider one situation, how many mistakes you are making. So reduce the mistakes, and I hope you will succeed in this voyage. Thank you very much. Ramesh sir, please take the charge.
Thank you, sir. Can you please stop the sharing of your screen?
Yes, I'll do it, sir. Right.
Nice. Wonderful presentation, sir. Bottle number 5.
We have to do in this situation, sir. That's our duty, our responsibility in government schools. We have to attract.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Right.
And a nice humorous story and a meaningful, message is also there.
Yeah.
Really, sir, I thank you. A wonderful presentation you have made, and elaborately you discussed aspects of this, past perfect tense and the future perfect tense. And you have rolled out some, homework which you have already given. and you told one nice, humorous story. With that, I enjoyed really, sir. Wonderful presentation. See, you are doing a good and great job, sir. And I'm very happy. DO sir also told that, and he wanted to congratulate you because of your all of your efforts to make this session in a wonderful way, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you to DO sir, MEO sir, and complex sections, MEOs, and Ravinder sir, today's presenter, and my colleagues, sectoral officers. And finally, I thank all the hosts, including this Radhakrishna sir, Nagara sir, Ajay sir, and finally, the participants, without whose participation the program may not be successful. Still, there are more than 800 watching, sir. A great thing, being today is a holiday. Some teachers might have forgotten, but anyhow, by the time evening, we are getting more than 5,000 views. That is sir, I can say confidently that there is a great, appreciation from on the part of the participants. Some participants are following on the time, during the time of the live streaming, and some other teachers also watching later. Is a great success, sir. And tomorrow we will have one announcement that tomorrow will be a holiday for English, spoken English.
Yeah.
And next we will be meeting on Monday. Thank you, sir. Finally, I thank you one and all for making this program a grand success. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Nice. Very nice to hear you. Right.
Uh,
Shall I end?
Radhakrishna, sir, it is time. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Please.